Good evening, everyone. My name is Karl Nelson. I'm a storyteller, producer, and content creator. We have a very special guest that's going to be on with us this evening, singer Mumu Fresh, who will actually be hitting the stage at this year's Weekender Festival. So I'm actually waiting for her to join the live right now so we can get this great conversation underway. So just bear with us for a moment. Thank you. There we go. Here we go. It should be bringing Mumu in, Mumu Fresh in. Let's see. Try to send this again. I just sent you the invite again, so it should be. Right, here we go.
Good.
How you doing?
Hey,
There you go. How's it going?
everything's good. Just
Good.
working.
Perfect. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation,
No problem.
with me this evening. This is the first time that we're meeting, but my name is Karl Nelson, storyteller, producer, and content creator, and I'm very excited to have this conversation with you this evening. So I appreciate you taking the time.
No
How,
problem.
how are you? First and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm doing
Doing
good. Thank you.
good?
hmm
Perfect. So I'm going to give you the proper introduction so we can kick off this conversation. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I have a very special guest with me this evening. Um, so let's get right into this thing. I'm gonna give her the proper introduction. Which she definitely deserves that. Okay. So tonight we have a very special guest for our Weekender live interview series, Mumu Fresh. Mumu Fresh is a Grammy-nominated Indigenous Music Award-winning, three-time Washington Area Music Award-winning, Urban World Music Video Award-winning, musical and cultural ambassador for the U.S. State Department, former elected governor of the D.C. chapter of the Recording Academy, co-creator of the Recording Academy's Best Song for Social Change Award.
hmm
Okay, and she's also an ambassador of the Black Music Collective. Okay, Mumu Fresh, singer, MC, songwriter, activist, and acclaimed hip hop artist who's been called a quadruple threat, and that's a quote by the Roots of Black Thought and groundbreaking. Another quote by Oscar-winning artist Common. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Mumu Fresh.
Hey.
Was that okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Great, no problem. So we can get right into the conversation
Mhm.
this evening. I think I'm on with you for about 15 to 20
Okay.
minutes, so we can get right to it. So Mumu, first and foremost, can you tell us a little bit about what initially drew you to music?
Mm, I think it was a way for me to express my feelings. Um, yeah, I was always really introspective and inquisitive. Um, just observing the world around me and
Mm,
asking myself a lot of tough questions about the world.
right.
And I was real emotional. I mean, I still am. But I used to, my mother had me take piano lessons from the time, I was, I don't know, 6 or 7. So,
Okay.
you know, just sit at the piano and play my feelings out until I felt better,
Mm.
you know. And my mother's a musician, and you know, she's a singer, songwriter. My grandmother's a musician and a singer, and my uncles. So it you know, it's also kind of like just something the family encouraged. My mother definitely encouraged me to be a professional artist, you know.
No, it sounds like you kind of come from that type of foundation, strong
Hmm.
foundation in music, kind of living in the legacy of family, which is something I could definitely relate to. So that's really crucial, important when it comes to the foundation
Hmm.
of people in general. So I kind of mentioned this in the intro, but your music appears to blend elements of hip hop, soul, jazz, and traditional African music as well. Can you talk a little bit about that? How do you balance those different elements when it comes to creating music?
I mean, it's natural for me. I don't even think about it. Those are just what my experiences were growing up. So my
Mm-hmm.
mother had she was like in a Afro Caribbean, like Latin jazz band when I was a kid,
Okay.
you know. And then she was also in another band called Sounds of Awareness with Brother Ah, and they did a lot of kind of experimental jazz and just like high vibrational music. So, you know, I was at all of their rehearsals. She was also in a group called Spellbound, all vocal a cappella sound healing group. I
Okay.
went to all their rehearsals and I eventually began singing with those groups. Um, yeah, my mother played a lot of African music in the house.
Right.
She went back and forth to Africa all the time. So
Mm.
that was a heavy influence. My mother is Choctaw, so that was my also an influence listening to native music. My brother is one of the greatest rappers of all time. So I grew up in the house, you know, with real dope MC that always battled me to rap. Um, and my father was a big hip hop head. You know, he would always play rap music. He would dress up like Flavor Flav and get in the car. He would have like this intercom in his car, and he'd let us like talk back and forth to truckers, and he'd be swerving down the highway making jokes. You know, we all like screaming. You know, this is back in the day when you could do stuff like that, but that wasn't illegal.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
We was just having
Right.
a good time, and he'd have on the gold chain and be rapping, you know, talking like Flavor Flav all day long. You know, so that was just like a part of like the culture I grew up around. Like
Mm.
that made sense. And my mother's a jazz singer. She was one of Sammy Davis Jr.'s opening acts in a group called the
Okay.
Vashinettes.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so you know, I heard jazz all day long. When people ask me like who they think I sound like, I'm like, I sound like my mother. You know, that's
Okay.
my mother was my main influence growing up. Her sound and her main influence was Sarah Vaughan.
Okay.
Um, So yeah, it's not like I like ever. It's not like I blended intentionally. It's blended up inside of me
It's just
already.
it's just who you
it's
naturally are. It's what you
already
grew up
yeah.
in,
It
right?
comes. It's already inside of me. So when you hear it already pre-blended.
Right. Right. Right.
Hmm.
Do you remember the moment or in your childhood or really what age you were when you said, okay, this is exactly I know exactly what I want to do. I want to really pursue music on a as part of just your life, your purpose on a full-time basis. You remember that time?
Well, I mean, I started a rap group with my cousin when I was like 12 or 13. I can't say that I thought about it like, oh, I want to do this as a career, meaning like to make money,
Right.
right? But I knew I loved the culture of hip hop. I love the competitive nature. I love to battle. I'm very competitive.
Okay.
Back then, I don't battle no more. It's too weird for women. No, it just is. Like once I became a teenager, started going to clubs to battle, I realized like, oh, this is not for me. I don't have thick enough skin. And I don't like everything becoming sexual. I was like,
Mm.
I'm cool. I can't take it. But I love the competitive nature of hip hop. I love to learn about artists, to study rappers, study rap lyrics.
Mm.
It's just like it felt like it just expands your mind. The more raps you memorize, the more raps you break down and dissect. Like it just expands your mind in a different way. And so I really
Right.
love doing that. I mean, it ain't a lot of rappers left that you can study because it's so elementary now. It's like,
Right.
you might get dumber. But yeah, but when I was a kid, rappers really tried hard and they were deep intellectuals. They were real thinkers. Not everybody could rap. You really had to have a certain type of mind to be able to rap. And so I really love that about it. I can't say that I thought to myself, oh, I want to, do this for a living. It really wasn't until I graduated high school and realized like I wasn't going to college, and everybody else was going to college. And, I was living with my aunt, and I was like, all right, I got to do something with my life because, I knew already that I had something special in me. Like I've known that since I was a small child, like just spiritually, I knew that whatever reason I came to this planet, that it was important. I didn't just get here by happenstance. It wasn't just I stumbled upon the earth. I knew I came here to do something. I had an important assignment, but I was also in this place like, how do I start it? What do I do next? Because while I had a lot of like creative nurturing and sharpening, my skills were sharpened, but I was coming into a business that like, it would be very hard for a person like me, wanting to be independent, wanting to have some type of creative control, not wanting to be a sexual object, wanting to have some ownership of my intellectual property. Like those were difficult concepts for anyone to understand then. And, but I was like, well, what else am I going to do? Like, my aunt, told me I could stay with her for a couple months. And I was like, all right. In a couple months, I'm gonna move out. It probably took like a year, but I ended up negotiating a record deal for myself and my cousin, and I did move out. So that was like me. I wanted to get out of Baltimore. I wanted to live on my own. I was a very independent young. Like I didn't want to have to need anybody. I wanted to do something within my gift that would allow me to be self-autonomous and to be on my own and to. I wanted to make my family proud. I want to make my city proud. Like I like that kind of stuff. Teenage mood was that I graduated early. Really, really serious academics. So I graduated early, and I just wanted to put. I had all this energy and I had a mind for business, and I just wanted to put that to work. So that's more what it was. It was more like. Economically, I wanted to build something. I wanted to build an empire. I wanted to create something that I didn't see there, right? A lot of people that come from Baltimore never get out. They can never figure out how to like get from point A to point B to point C, and I just didn't want that to be my story. I wanted to, so.
And I want to jump in for a second because I do see that we had the Baltimore connection. So I love that because of all the research that I was doing, that was one of the things I didn't see at first.
That I was from Baltimore?
Yeah, exactly. So that's
what did it say? Where say I was from?
No, I didn't see exactly.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see that jump off the page, but that's a beautiful thing.
What side? What part?
I'm from here as well. Well, I actually grew up in Baltimore County. I'll say that. So I actually, when I was born right down the street from Mount St. Joe. Okay. So we kind of my
was St. Joseph Hospital?
Right on that. No, like Mount St. Joe, the high school.
Oh, okay.
The private school, yeah. So we were kind of like on that borderline, that city and county line, and then we moved out to the county, so Owings Mills, Maryland. I grew up from there. So, but as a storyteller, I love highlighting the lives of people and the journeys of people from Baltimore. I've done stories on people that grew up in McCullough Homes projects and areas like that.
I used to live on McCullough Street. Yep, I know exactly what McCullough Homes is. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, my father lived there. He lived in Murphy Homes.
Okay.
I know all about it.
No, so that's a beautiful thing to see people that come from Baltimore and are able to really flourish,
right?
And make their community proud.
And that's so important, right? Because when I go back and talk to I love going back and talk to young girls in middle school, elementary school. They can never believe that I'm from Baltimore. In their mind, if I've done anything successful, anything worth doing, I can't be from here. You know what I mean? I'm like, what does that say about us? Right. What does it say about the way you feel about yourself? Right? That if it's from here, it can't be good. And it's like, we got to change that. We have to, it's important for us to thrive. As an example, like, yes, I come from that same block that you came from. You know what I mean? And I've been able to go around the world 15 times and do what I wanted to do on my own terms, my way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I ain't had to sell nothing, do nothing. I had to exploit myself in no way to do what I wanted to do. You know?
Right. No, I love the fact that you're talking about community because for the weekend, which we'll get to that in a moment, because obviously you'll be gracing the stage at this year's Weekender Festival. But that's community is a major element and component of just what the weekend is all about. So I just wanted to ask you, how important is it for you to have a positive impact on the community with the music that you create and just with your platform as a whole?
I mean, it's all that matters. If I couldn't make a positive impact through music, I wouldn't do music. Real talk. I maybe I just do it as a hobby at home or with my crew, or what I mean.
Right.
If I didn't think, and I say this because I've been faced with those challenges where I've had financial opportunities that I believe would have been negatively impactful to the people who follow me, and to just to what it would mean to have someone like me now go do this other thing that I don't even participate in or believe in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I hold a lot of strong lines about brands that I won't partner with. And Lord, and it's always the worst, most destructive brands that pay the most. My God. But I just, I really feel strongly about that God is always going to provide for me, but I got to stay true to what, if I won't take it, I'm not going to sell it to you. You know what I'm saying? If I don't believe in it, if I feel like it's really harmful and destructive to you, I'm not going to sell it to you. And so, yeah, so that's kind of like all that matters for me, because I know that this life is temporary. The life on the other side is so much longer than this. And whatever you sacrifice on this side, I promise it ain't going to be worth it later on. So I keep all that kind of stuff in mind, is that, I weigh my sins out. You know what I mean? That's important to me. Like, as a believer, like, I weigh out the impact that my walk has on this earth. As indigenous people, we always say, walk lightly on the earth. Tread lightly. Don't just stomp on Mother Earth. Don't leave a trail behind that's harmful to the person walking behind you or to what you're walking on top of. Like, live in a way that you, when you meet Creator, you can have clean hands, an open heart. You ain't got to be, you know what I mean, try to wash a whole bunch of sins at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean? If you can help it, sometimes we all falter and make mistakes, right? Fall short. But if you can help it, if you go into it with a knowing mind that this thing is destructive, maybe don't do that. You know,
no,
so I take that into account when I'm creating, when I'm writing. It's times when I might have a hard bar. I'm like, oh, that's a bar, right? But at what? This is my son always say, but at what cost? He's like, that was a bar, but at what cost? So I think about that, like, that's a bar, but at what cost? Like, do I want somebody else to chant that? Do I want that? Because whatever you repeat become your reality. Do I want that to become somebody else's reality? Do I want it to be my reality? You know what I mean? Even if it is my momentary experience, do I want that to be my ongoing reality? If I, what do you call it? Solidify it, like immortalize it in a verse for it to repeat. Now I done gave it some power that go on beyond me that I can't even stop now. So I'm mindful about that kind of stuff.
So, since we're on this topic, one thing I love about your artistry and your music is the fact that you do touch on social and political issues when it comes to the music that you create. So how are you selective in that? Like, how do you pick and choose what you're gonna, talk about in your music when it comes to those political topics and social topics?
It's really just what I feel connected to and moved by, at a moment. Like, a lot of times people will message me and say, hey, you should make a song about this or that. And I'm like, oh, if I feel it, because I'm not a person, I don't write every day. People think I write all the time. I actually don't write all the time. I mean, it'd be nice to, maybe in this next leg of my journey, I have more time to write. But I don't write every day. I have to be like really inspired to want to write. Something got to move me and make me feel emotional. And then it's like, all right, I'm going to put this into that. And then still I got to book the studio time and force myself to do it. Right. So yeah, so that's what I never, just because somebody want me to write about something, I'm not not gonna do it. I really got to feel connected and moved. Like, I did this song about Monsanto seeds, right? Genetically modified foods a long time ago. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And but the way it came about, I didn't know what Monsanto was, period. But I had a dream. I had a dream about these two names, and Spirit was saying to I can't remember how I was interacting with these two men, and they look like scientists. They don't lab coats, and their names. I saw their names written down in my drink. Anyway,
Okay.
when I woke up, my mind told me, "Oh, maybe they might have some money for me." So I go and Google the names, and they turned out to be scientists who was genetically modifying fruits and vegetables, and they work at this company, Monsanto. I'd never heard about this company. So then I
Okay.
start researching, well, what is that? And I find that all of these people are suing this company for cancer and leukemia, all different types of ailments, not just for the genetically modified foods, but for the Roundup, the fertilizer, it's like bug repellent that they are spraying. And the people who work in the factory spraying on the grass are dying of all these different types of skin cancers, and it's happening all over. And they're trying to sue these people, but they can't. And they're so high up in government, and they got lobbyists, and I mean, they like the daggone mafia. You know what I mean? And they have paid off the FDA. I mean, it's this whole scandal. And so now I'm just like documentaries about. It's a lot of information out there about these companies. So then I wrote a song about that because it was in my dreams, and I felt so moved. I learned all this stuff. I mean, I was on a Monsanto just roll for a minute. You know what I mean? I mean, actually, they listen. They had somebody come out tell me stop talking about it. I didn't, but you know what I mean. Like,
what's the name of that song? What's the name of that record?
it's called an Ode to Monsanto.
Okay.
Pretty literal. Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to transition for a second because see, I could sit here and talk to you for another hour, but I'm trying to keep track of time for your sake, right? But so let's transition for a second. So obviously, I know that every artist doesn't pursue artistry for the recognition, right, and for the accolades, but you know, at the same time, it is nice, you know, it is nice to be recognized. It is nice when people are able to, you know, see your art, listen to your art, and say,
Yeah, feel appreciated.
absolutely feel appreciated, when it's worthy of an award, especially on a major platform. So I want to talk about the Grammys for a second because I know that you are, obviously, I said in the intro, you are a Grammy nominated artist. So can you talk a little bit about what it felt like when you accomplished that, you know, when you found out that you were nominated, you know, for a Grammy, and what project or song was that for?
Well, I was kind of shocked. This was very early on in my career. I didn't even know how that worked. Like, how do you become nominated, right? Like now I've been a member for like, I don't know, since 2011. So I have a deeper understanding. I mean, I've been a governor for many years, working inside the Grammys now. But back then I had no idea how a person even gets nominated. Like that was like, it was like magic had happened. A magician had waved a wand and made us nominated, right? So it was for a song I did with the Roots called Don't Feel Right. And even how I got on that song, like I was coming from work and I stopped by the studio. Dice Ross said he had a verse, a hook that he wanted me to reference. So I'm like, all right, I had a long day. I was working retail then. God, I hated that. And so I just went by the studio. I'm gonna go ahead and just, record this hook real quick, like and I referenced it expecting somebody else to recut it. And I just went home. And so maybe like a couple of months later, they were like, yeah, we had 3 other artists recut it and nobody can match your vibe. I was like, really? Like, okay, because they have big names, huge names, cut the same hook, and they kept going back to my reference vocal, and I was like, that is so interesting. Okay, and then they released it with my reference vocal.
Okay.
And then that song got nominated. I mean, I don't know, I was excited about. I was also kind of dumbfounded, like, really? Oh my God, okay, all right, wow. When I was maybe like, when I graduated high school, right? When I first started making like vision boards, and I remember writing, I'm gonna have a Grammy when I'm 21.
Okay.
And that is what happened, right? But Grammy nomination was 21. So yes, I kind of feel like I was visualizing it in some way, just because I'm like, I need goals to work. I gotta work towards something, or I'm not gonna feel like doing it.
Right.
Because I'm very hardworking, but I can also tend to be a person that I like to be left alone too. So I balance with those two. One part of me just want to stay home, don't want to do nothing. And the other part of me is like very, very much a go-getter, and I like to like achieve, or I like to write down stuff, and then I get a thrill out of making everything happen, right? Like before I did the tiny desk, like I wrote it on my wall and was like, I'm gonna do the tiny desk. I didn't know nobody from the tiny desk, period.
Wow.
And within like 3 months of that, I was on tiny desk. You know what I mean? But I really feel like it was like a visualization. It was from my mouth to God's ears. It was like, all right, tell me what you want. And after that, I was like, ooh, I also want, you know what I mean? But it is something powerful about setting a goal, having conviction, writing it down, and then not letting no doubt in your mind come. Like, suspend your disbelief that it can't happen. Just imagine that it could. Watch him, like you see your life as a movie, and in this script, this character goes and does this thing. Simple. That's not hard. Why is that hard to believe? You know. So that's how I kind of started dealing with it. So I can't say I was like, oh my, you know, I was excited, but at the same time, I hadn't like done that much in the industry. So it wasn't like I worked so hard and finally this moment, you know. I was just getting started. I had recorded one album on my own, right, without the label, and then on the label I recorded, I don't know, another 50 or 60 songs. But we had not, like, you know, they had not decided that any of them were like good enough. I mean, the thing is not that they weren't good enough, but we were very revolutionary. We were so ahead of our time. Let me tell you, I have been ahead of my time my whole life. Real talk. Like some of the stuff that people are doing now, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm almost like tired. Like I'm tired of it because I did it 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like even as a kid, like I was that kid, like that was like an adult already as a child. So yeah, so it was exciting, but it was also kind of like, oh wow, okay. You know, like now I know how the process works differently. I don't know. I don't even know how it feels now. I don't know. I just try to do the work. You know, my goal is really like, I think about somebody like Stevie Wonder, right? He has a song for every experience the human can go through. That's that's kind of what I want in terms of my legacy. Like, if they award it, if they don't, if it happens now, if it happens when I'm 80, whatever, I just want to continue to create a body of work that is a real reflection of the human experience, and that is healing, and that's helpful long past the time I'm gone. When I'm off the planet, I want what I created to still help somebody through their human experience, because the human experience is, wow, is a doozy. It's quite an illusion that is hard. It's like a web. It's a web of illusion, and it's hard to find your way through. If you find your way through, you know, you're one of the winners, and it's not a whole lot of winners.
It's like creating something that can speak for you in your absence.
Yeah, not just for me, but for them. You know what I mean? Because God has given me perception, and so I feel like that is that's gold. I didn't always know I had that. It took, maybe only like 7 years ago that I realized like that I have perception that not all humans have. And so I think that's like, all right, so then this is part of my duty to use my perception to give voice, to give right. Stevie Wonder says nothing new is under the sun but the way you perceive it, like the way you express it, right? So he can write 13 songs about love, and they'll all be different because they're coming from a different perception, right? You're perceiving this thing differently, and your perception is your reality. And it's also how you experience a thing, and how you experience a thing is how you feel about it, right? Two people can have the same experience, but you can perceive it a little differently, and one can be traumatic for you and one cannot, depending on how you perceive it, right? One can totally change the course of your life, and the other one might be like, I ain't really notice it, the same situation. And so music has the ability to help to give you a lens to see through, to help you process your feelings in a different way. I mean, that's a really powerful thing. And so because God has given me that gift of perception, I feel like that's part of what I'm here to do for the time that I'm here to do that. And then there'll be other things that God has called me to do, and it may not be music no more. It might be something else.
No, that's phenomenal. Something you mentioned a couple of minutes ago was your Tiny Desk performance. I was able to see a part of that performance. What was that experience like for you?
The first one or the second one?
Both.
Or the third one? Hey!
So, yeah, what was that? Let's go with the first one. Let's
All
go
right,
with
so
the
the
first
first
one.
one I did with Common, right?
Right.
So I was very nervous, right? First of all, I'm a big fan of NPR, big fan of Democracy Now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, I'm a nerd. I like to study that kind of stuff. Just yeah. So I've been listening to NPR and Democracy Now since I was a kid.
Okay.
I just love them. I just like how that they're so they give such a wide variety of perspectives from around the world. So I was excited to be there, like on some nerdy stuff, like, oh my God, it's NPR, And it was dope because Andra Day was there. Me and her had met a couple times before at Sundance, and we hung out at Sundance. She's really sweet. And Brandy, of course. So that was really cool just to be there with both of them. I'd been on tour with Common for some years prior to that. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I just was like, let me get 16 bars.
Okay.
Because he asked me, like, what do you want to do on the show? I was like, let me get 16 bars. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. My heart was kind of racing, Because while you could record again, they don't really want to. They want you to do it one time and be done. So I was like a little nervous, not sure, and that was my first time hearing this in rehearsal that morning. It was the first time I'd ever heard that song.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, so we rehearsed it a couple times and it was like go time. So I was like a little nervous. And it wasn't until right before I went on, I decided what I was going to do, the verse I was going to do. And my eyes was like closed at one point while I was rapping, and I was, feeling kind of emotional into what I was saying. And then when I was done, everybody just started shouting and clapping. And then I opened my eyes and scared me. Like, oh, wow, okay, y'all liked it. Cool, that's dope. And I had no idea that verse would go viral and really change my life, pretty significantly. A lot of people didn't know what Tiny Desk was at that time.
Yeah.
So many people were like, why are I saw you were singing at a library. Why was you?
Yeah,
Why was you
it's
at that
become a
place with
lot
all
more
the
popular
books?
in recent years.
I'm like, no, it's NPR. It's called Tiny Desk. Look, what little table? I'm like, no, it's Tiny Desk. It's become like a staple now. But that was 2018. Especially Black folks wasn't hip to Tiny Desk. NPR has predominantly, more Caucasian audience and more diverse Middle Eastern, Asian, South Pacific Asian, whatever, African. But a lot of Black Americans did not know what Tiny Desk was. They was not. They was, yeah. So
I feel like that Usher meme, the Watch This meme, kind of helped out with that when he did his Tiny Desk performance. I feel like it added some more popularity to it. You know what I mean?
I mean, so many people. I mean, after Mumu Fresh did hers, a lot of other people did this.
And you've been on there multiple times. That's a flex right there. That's a major flex. Since we're on the topic of performances, I'm gonna ask you a couple of more questions, and then I'm gonna let you go. I think we've been on here for over 20 minutes now, but I'm really enjoying the conversation. So you'll be performing at the Weekender in August 9th. That's day one of the Weekender, and I can just tell just based off of what I've seen before we even had this conversation, the conversation we're having right now, I believe that people are really in for a treat, a major treat that day. So for anybody who will be in attendance in the Harrisburg community that day, what can they look forward to with the performance when you hit that stage?
Oh yeah, well, we gonna have a good time. It's definitely.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Sorry.
No, you good.
I
can see you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely is gonna be a party, it's gonna be a good time. But it's also gonna be uplifting and introspective. I'll have my looper there. So I normally have my set list, but I also fill out the audience. I fill out, what's the vibration in the crowd? What does this moment need?
Right.
You know what I mean? I have a really my body of work spans a lot of different vibes. You know what I mean? It really does, because I hate doing the same thing twice. I mean, I can't even do the same set. We might be have a tour, right? You put a set list together for tour. I might do 3 nights in a row and I can't take it no more. I need to do something different because I'm bored. I'm bored, right? So I like to fill out the audience and see what they need, and then be like, I know what I'm about to give y'all.
Right.
Yeah,
No, the
so.
people are definitely in for a treat. I wanna ask you this, and then I'll let you go from here. Um, so obviously, like you said, you kind of come from this musical background with your family. So you got an early start in your life with this. What would be
Mhm.
your advice to young artists today who are trying to kind of figure out how they want to navigate their artistry, or how they want to navigate the industry or break into the industry?
Mhm.
What would be your $1 million piece of advice to a young artist today?
Well, my advice to me is timeless and universal, right? It really is to put your 10,000 hours in. I get that artists don't have to do that anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you don't have to be like real great at your craft. You know what I mean? You can just, get a good gimmick and ride until the wheels fall off. And I get it. And that works, if that's what you into, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I tell artists, like, I don't know that I'm the best person to advise you. It depends on what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you are, I'm good. I can advise you if you want to be great. Like, if you really want to be great, not if you want to pretend to be great, but if you truly want to be great, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be timeless, like you want to be excellent at your craft, and I got a lot of good advice for you. But if you just, like, a lot of artists, like, I ain't really a rapper, I ain't really a singer, I'm just, freaking this, get the money out, I don't really have no good advice for you.
Right.
Because I don't
Right.
respect it. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
respect it. I don't respect fraudulence.
Mm-hmm.
But for artists, young artists who actually want to be great, you know what I mean? Like, put your 10,000 hours in, like, really learn your craft, learn your scales,
Mm-hmm.
like, practice every day. You know what I mean? Take voice lessons. I still take voice lessons. I'm always, working on my voice. And I've changed so many things about my lifestyle and my diet to accommodate my voice. You know what I mean? If you
Okay.
know that this is your gift, don't destroy it with alcohol and smoke.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Right? This gift is sacred.
Right.
It's on loan to you.
Right.
If you destroy it, you know what I'm saying? You may not never get it back.
Right.
But I hear some people like, oh yeah, I used to be able to sing good, but I couldn't stop drinking and smoking, so now I don't really sound that good. So for me, I'm like disciplined. As an artist, you're an athlete,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I'm about to go on tour, I'm going outside running backwards up a hill, rapping my verse. Like, you know what I mean? But I have that kind of mind state. Like, I have that go get like, and beat yourself. Be better than your last. If I found myself like super out of breath at the last show, I'd be so disappointed in myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I see artists now, like, even ones that ask me, like, to mentor, they get on stage and they got a blunt. They rapping like every 5 lines. They say a little line here. They let the crowd say it, or they got a girl twerking and I'll be like, I'm cool. I don't have no advice for you. I don't, because that ain't, I don't have no respect for that. What is that?
Right.
Like, you don't even care that you don't have no breath control. Like, you don't even have the capacity to rap your whole song that you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you wrote it. I don't know. So for me, I respect when artists want to be the greatest. Like, be Muhammad Ali with your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you should want to be the greatest, like truly the greatest. You should want to keep writing. You should want to battle. You should want to, like, actually earn your title. And yeah, go down in history. Like, exhaust yourself, your possibilities. Like, be as good as you can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't leave nothing left in there. Die empty. It's a book I love that Jazzy Jeff put me on to, called Die Empty. And it's about that. It says all the greatest ideas are in the cemetery because people died before they executed them. They left so much inside of them, and then their
Mm-hmm.
time was up. So I tell artists, don't leave nothing inside you. Like, really develop yourself. Leave it on the stage. Give everything you got. Like, explore, who am I all the time? What else do I have to offer? What are my gifts? What is God calling me to do? What is uniquely my calling, uniquely my gift? How do I utilize this gift in a way that only I can?
Right.
And to me, like, that's what makes you iconic. That's what makes you timeless. That's what's gonna, like, make your music reach into somebody's chest and touch them differently, right? And they'll remember how you feel. Even if they don't remember what you said, they're gonna remember how you made them feel.
Right.
And that's what I'm obsessed with, greatness. I mean, it's almost a little bit of a torment. I'm slightly tormented by my obsession with greatness. You know what I mean? Like, I get a thrill out of it. I get a thrill out of being a good business person, right? Like, as a good business person, I'm real like adamant about my business practices and that nobody coming up short, even if I have to take the L. Y'all not taking no L's if you under me. Like, I really like eat, breathe, sleep that. You know what I mean? And I feel like I got that from my dad. My dad was a businessman. He owned several businesses. And I just love the way he took care of people, the way he made things better for so many people. He made people's lives better. He took care of people's families. He lived by moral code, ethics. It's just certain things he did and certain things he just didn't do. Off GP, off principle. And you was never gonna make him break his principle. Like, there's nothing you could give him that or say that will make him. You know, I respect that, and I teach the artists that come up under me. You know, not everybody can live like that, for real. Like, not everybody got what it takes to be that disciplined and stay on code that hard. But like, I really live by it. I mean, I live and die by it. Like, I feel like if I can't be principled, I'll take me by the take me by the head. For real. Like, I really go that hard with it. I'm a little obsessive when it comes to my principle, like what I stand on. My word is my bond. Like, I really live by that stuff. It means a lot to me. And so I be realizing sometimes I be a little hard on artists because they be like, whoa, I wasn't trying to go that hard. I didn't want my word to totally be my bond, just a little bit. And I'd be like, well, I'm the wrong one to advise you then. I just am, you know. I think you're supposed to be a gladiator. That's how I feel, you know. So that's my
real quick before I let you go, I did see this question pop up in the chat. How was it working with Toby?
Oh, Toby's a genius, bro. He's legit a genius. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't get the whole vision. When I came to the video shoot, I had my own outfit I was finna wear. He said, oh, no, you gotta wear this outfit. I said, what I gotta wear? Wait, I brought my own outfit. I didn't understand the vision. It was so funny, but he was very sweet and very, the whole team, man. I love them. They were great. They were great. And like, when I saw, he's like, just trust me. It's going to come together. I was like, with the sweat socks? He was like, yes, with the sweat socks. I was like, all right, I ain't never worn no sweat socks with the slides. Okay. Well, okay. With the dress, okay. No, but it was so beautiful. You know, he's a visionary, bro. I couldn't see it. I could not see it like he saw. He is an absolute visionary. And I'm in awe. I'm in awe of him all the time. I am in awe of his work ethic, of his vision, of his commitment to us, of his belief in himself. I mean, that's like, to me, that's like 85% of success is just what you believe you can do. Like 85. The rest is like what you actually do. That, to me, right? Because you can't do it until you actually believe that you can do it. And he did, you know, he got this like unrelenting belief in himself and in his vision and in his mission in a different way, like a different way than I've seen in almost anybody else. The only other person I feel like I saw that in is an artist named Odyssey.
Okay.
From the DMV. Odyssey is like that. And same thing when I met Odyssey, I was really in awe because we all, you know, kind of kids coming out the hood together. I said, damn, he really believes in himself. Like, what makes him think he can do all of that? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
No, for real. Like, I had to grow to believe in myself like that. I really did. I had to grow to understand what manifestation really takes and to have the audacity to like dream real big. Like, a lot of my dreams is like, you know, it was like, I want to get out the ghetto. I want to help, you know, put some money on my dad's books, get my dad out of jail. I'm gonna buy my mom a house. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I had like revolutionary dreams, like we gonna free all Black people, right? But I ain't have dreams like, I don't know. It's taken me a while. Some of the things that I've accomplished, like, it's taken me a while to like believe in it, you know, and to really buy into the belief of it. And I think, you know, some of that is like generational trauma, right? When you when it's not safe to believe too much, you know what I mean? Where you trying to protect yourself from disappointment, right? And generations, each generation has done that. In particular for Black Americans, right? When your parents and grandparents and great grandparents didn't want you to believe too deeply because the greater you became, the more dangerous it was for you.
Right.
right?
Right.
You're
Right.
going to accomplish something great, and they're going to come after you for it. They're going to burn it all down, right? We've seen it historically in our communities whenever, I mean, right out of construction, Black people were educating themselves, becoming business owners, doctors, lawyers, like right out of slavery.
Mm.
And they burned everything down over and over and over again, right? So there is a generational trauma in our veins, in our blood that say, don't dream too big. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just stay just under the radar enough so that they don't destroy everything. They don't come after us. They don't kill us, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so that thing is there and it's real, and I see it so much with so many other, folks that come out, like that really come out of the ghetto, to come out of poverty. I see them self-sabotage. I mean, I fight the spirit of self-sabotage all the time.
Mm.
And it really is a safety mechanism. It's a protection mechanism that self-sabotages, because in your blood memory what they do to you when you think too much of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you think you about to do it on your own terms, right? So it's something that you always got to negotiate and navigate with the ego, with the spirit mind, because the spirit mind trusts in a higher power and don't have that kind of fear, but the ego mind does it, but it also protects us. It protects us, right? And so I say all that to say, I am like working with Toby. I was just constantly inspired, man, by his radical self-belief. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's all. He is a chosen. They got his hand. He got he got a brilliant mind, boy, brilliant mind. And I'm grateful to have been able to watch him work the way I saw him work, and with the consistency. You know what I mean? Like his level of discipline is like that. It's really like that.
I could talk to you for another couple of hours. This was
Why somebody say bail money in straight Baltimore?
Oh yeah. I saw that.
That's like, when I listen back to my early records when I was like 18, I'd be like, give me 1 year, Pop. I'll put the money on your books, Pop. I was like, yo, that was real for me. You know what I mean? Like, I did that time with my dad. Every prison they moved him to, he done been so many prisons in the United States. I'll go right there I'm pulling up,
Right. No, this was phenomenal. Genuinely enjoyed the conversation. And I'm definitely gonna be following you from this point on forward. Absolutely. And like I said, love the Baltimore connection. I definitely appreciate the fact that you have this radical belief in yourself. I know you were talking about Toby, but just talking to you tonight, you sound like you got the same thing. So.
But I really had to work on it, though. I'm gonna tell you, I really had to work, and I balance it. I temper it, right? Because I'm a Pisces, so I got both them fish, right? One fish be like, oh, we bought the blah, and another fish be like, it's never gonna work. I ain't lying. I'm telling you the truth. I'd be like, yes, it is gonna work. I'll be dragging that fish back upstream. Then she'd be like, I don't think I can do it. I don't feel like a tiger at all. No, real talk. That's what I'm saying. Like, on my good days, I'll be invincible, but boy, on my bad days. So I'm grateful. I give that man all his, and then obviously bringing his wife and his children around. I mean, with him, I mean, it's just beautiful. Just what he represents, and yeah, that's my guy. He's dope. He's dope.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: anybody who's in attendance on August 9th they're gonna be blessed. They're definitely gonna be blessed by the performance. I can't wait to see how it all pans out. So I'm definitely wishing you all the best for that performance in August. And like I said, you have a new fan over here, so I'll definitely be following you from this point forward. And I appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation this evening. Before we get off the live, is there anything that you want to plug? Is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Just check out. I have an album that I released like a couple months ago. Buy from my website instead of streaming platforms, y'all. Okay, let me get my coin.
Right.
Yeah, buy some merch, y'all. We got some We Need a Healing t-shirts. Okay, we got our gift boxes. Go support your girl. But yeah, get it from my website. Yeah, we just finished the tour. We still got some dates, so we're gonna be at Monterey Jazz Festival. I'm really excited about that. I played there.
Okay.
Yeah, I played there years ago with Herbie Hancock, and it was so dope. So yeah, we'll be there. Um, yeah. So just check me out. Stay connected. Tell a friend.
Right. Right. Oh, and look, by the way, that I just saw this in the chat. So Toby, he performed in 2018 at the Weekend. So
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
Weekend
Oh wow,
alumni right there.
that's
Yep.
dope. I feel like I met him that next year. I saw him on Sway, and I told Sway, I was like, Sway, that dude was really dope. I was like, yo, connect me with him. And he's like, yo, you gotta meet him. He's super ill. And then we talked on Instagram, and then we met. Yeah, we met at the Roots Picnic, 2019.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I saw a clip of you on Sway
Mhm.
recently this week. So that's dope too. So no, you making your rounds for sure. That's a beautiful thing.
I mean, Sway, he like family now, man. The first time I went on there, I was so freaking shook. I called my like, we made it. I'm on Sway.
And he got your name. He got your name right too. I saw that.
Yeah.
He got,
No,
he
he's
got
a real journalist.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he really does. So I was
No,
very appreciative.
absolutely.
And he was already like he was hip to the music already. He was a supporter and everything. So that was like, it's huge when people that you really respect also really respect
Right.
you. You know,
Right.
so, like I love Sway. That's my brother for life now. That's like fam for real now.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But no, like I said, I saw mine when we made
Uh,
it.
real
But
talk.
no, definitely appreciate you taking the time for the interview this evening. And like I said, I'm wishing you all the best in
Thank you.
August when you hit that stage. And
Mm-hmm.
these people are definitely in for a treat. So it
Yeah.
was nice to meet you on here on the live,
Well.
and hopefully we can have another conversation like this again someday.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good.
Take care.
All
Thanks,
right.
Mumu. Thank you. Bye.